Welcome to our 2025 English Learner Progress Indicator presentation from the Accountability Development and Policy Analysis Unit here at the California Department of Education. My name is Irit and I will be presenting with Justin. Our session will provide a top-level review of the dashboard and a more in-depth review of the English Learner Progress Indicator. For the 2025 dashboard, the California Department of Education has posted a series of on-demand presentations which are short, accessible videos that can be accessed anytime and will cover each of the state indicators in more detail. Today's agenda includes an overview of the California School Dashboard, which will be referred to as the dashboard from now and on. Then we will cover everything you need to know about the English Learner Progress Indicator, or LP, followed by a few frequently asked questions, or facts. And finally, if you need additional help with the English Learner Progress Indicator, we will share how to go about contacting or reaching us with any and all of your dashboard questions. For an overview of the dashboard, the CDE has created the Dashboard 101 On Demand. There, you will gain a clear overview of the dashboard, including detailed explanations of state and local measures, performance levels, and general rules about the dashboard. You can find a link to the Dashboard 101 On Demand in the note-taking guide.
Now we will go through the details of the English Learner Progress Indicator. What is the English Learner Progress Indicator? The English Learner Progress Indicator, or ELPI, shows the percentage of current English learner, or EL, students making progress at the state, district, and school level towards English language proficiency or maintaining the highest performance level on the summative English language proficiency assessments for California, or LPAC, and the summative alternate LPAC. So what will the English Learner Progress Indicator look like on the 2025 dashboard? The LP will report status and change on the 2025 dashboard. This means it will have the color banner across the top of the card, as well as the performance level or color in the form of the gauge and the color explicitly written out as well. In this example, the gauge is pointing to the color blue. Additionally, we will see the current year status listed here as 66.7% of students are making progress towards English proficiency. Next, the card indicates whether the status is changed from the prior year, with the example here showing that there was an increase of 11.1 percentage points. Finally, the equity report shows the number of student groups in each of the performance level or colors for that particular school or LEA. In this example, 2 were blue, 0 green, 0 yellow, and 0 were in red and orange. This top-level report can assist schools and LEAs looking at student group inequities that may be occurring. At the very bottom of the dashboard cards, there's a link to view more details, which provide more specific student group information and trends in data over time when available. Additionally, any LEA or school with 30 or more students in the denominator is held accountable for differentiated assistance at the LEA level and targeted support and improvement TSI at the school level. A dashboard card will look different depending on the size of the denominator. If an LEA school or student group between 11 to 29 students in the denominator in the current or prior year, then no performance level is displayed and only status and change from the prior year is reported on the dashboard. In this second sample card, the student group displays no performance color with a grayed out gauge and an LP status rate of 72.2%. It also reports an increase of 43.7 percentage points from the prior year. The number of students, or in size, is 18. Additionally, groups with less than 30 students are not considered eligible for accountability determinations. If there are less than 11 students in the denominator in the current or prior year, then no data is reported on the dashboard to protect students' privacy. In this third sample card, the student group displays no performance color with a grayed out gauge and LP rate. The number of students, or in size, is 13. Additionally, any LEA, school, or student group with less than 11 students in the denominator are not considered eligible for accountability determinations. Next, I will elaborate about the Long-Term English Learner, or LTEL, student group. The definition for the LTEL student group is as follows: a pupil who has not attained English language proficiency within 7 years of initial classification as an English learner. All EL students who reach their 7th year as an EL student anytime during the academic year will be counted in the LTEL student group. For example, a student who enrolls in a California public school in the 2018-2019 academic year and is determined to be an EL student. This student is still an EL student in the 2024-25 academic year, and this student would be included in the LTEL student group because the student has been an EL for 7 years. Please keep in mind, this LTEL definition only applies to the dashboard and does not apply to other reporting, which uses the definition outlined in California Education Code Section 313.1. The number of LTEL students, or in size, required to receive an LP status, change, and overall performance level, districts, county offices of education, 15 or more LTEL students with current and prior year summative or summative alternate LPAC results. Schools, 30 or more LTEL students with current and prior year summative or summative alternate LPAC results. It is important to clarify that all students on the LP baseball card are the EL students. The LTEL student group is a subset of the EL student group. So who is considered an LTEL student for reporting on the dashboard? Similar to the EL student group, who is an EL student can vary by state indicator. There are 3 distinct populations: cumulative enrollment, academic demographics, and cohort. The definition of who is an LTEL student is the same for the dashboard indicators that use cumulative enrollment and are assessment takers, which is they become an LTEL student at any point during this year. The cumulative enrollment covers the chronic absenteeism and suspension rate state indicators, while the assessment takers cover the academic indicator, ELA and math, the science indicator, and the English Learner Progress Indicator, or ELPI. LTEL students are considered as an LTEL student at any time during the school year. For example, if an EL student reaches the 7th year as an EL on June 15th, the EL student will be considered an EL student for the entire academic year and will be counted as an EL student for these state indicators. Lastly, who is considered an LTEL student for reporting on the dashboard state indicators that use cohort as their population? Students will be counted as an LTEL student if the student is an LTEL at any time during the cohort. The cohort population covers the graduation rate and the college/career state indicators. For example, an EL student reaches the 7th year as an EL student in grade 11. Then in grade 12, the student reclassifies as a fluent English proficient. This student would be counted as an EL student in the graduation rate and the college/career state indicators. Now I will head it back over to Irit. Irit, take it away.
Thank you, Justin. Next, we will describe what is progress in the LP on the Summative English Language Proficiency Assessment for California, or LPAC. The purpose of the LPAC is to measure an EL student's progress in learning English and to identify the EL student's level of English language proficiency. The LP relies on the results of the summative LPAC, including summative alternate LPAC results, to determine EL student progress. The LP derives its levels from the 4 summative LPAC levels that EL students receive after completing the assessment each spring. These 4 LPAC performance levels are divided into 6 LP levels for the dashboard. Using 6 levels for accountability is intentional because it accounts for the average time students need to make progress towards gaining English language proficiency in the LP. To show progress towards English language proficiency on the LP, EL students must increase at least one LP level from the previous year or maintain a level 4 from one year to the next. Let's demonstrate through 2 examples. Example 1, a student in 2024 scored a level of 2 high or 2H. In 2025, the same student scored a level 3 low or 3L. This student advanced 1 LP level. Example 2, a student in 2024 scored a level of 2 high or 2H. In 2025, the same student scored a level of 2 high or 2H. This student did not advance 1 LP level. The LP not only measures progress for students on the summative LPAC, but the Summative Alternate English Language Proficiency Assessment for California, or the Alternate LPAC as well. The Summative Alternate LPAC provides information on student annual progress towards English Language Proficiency, or ELP, and supports decisions for students to be reclassified as Fluent English Proficient, or RFEP. This test is designed for students with the most significant cognitive disabilities who are English learner students whose Individualized Education Program, or IEP, team has determined that they are eligible for an alternate assessment. Beginning with the 2024 California School Dashboard, the results of the summative alternate LPAC were incorporated into the English Learner Progress Indicator for status, change, and overall performance color. The summative alternate LPAC has 3 performance levels. Level 1, Novice. Level 2, Intermediate. Level 3, Fluent English Proficient. These levels are used to determine progress on the LP. How progress on the LP is determined for alternate LPAC. There are 3 paths an EL student can show English language proficiency progress on the summative alternate LPAC. An increase of at least 1 summative alternate LPAC level from the previous year, or maintain a level 3 from one year to the next, or have at least a 10 plus scale score change from the prior year. EL students who meet any of these criteria will be counted as progressing towards English language proficiency. Let's look at an example of summative alternate LPAC progress on the LP. In 2024, an EL student taking the summative alternate LPAC had a scale score of 244 in kindergarten. In 2025, this EL student had a scale score of 359 in grade 1. The scale score of 244 in 2024 gets converted to 44, and the scale score of 359 in 2025 gets converted to 59. The difference was calculated between 59 and 44, a scale score change of 15 plus. I'll hand it over to Justin.
Next, we will review status and change in the LP. LP status measures the rate at which LEAs and schools are moving their EL students towards English Language Proficiency, or ELP. LP status requires 2 years of assessment results. For example, Coatell High School has an LP status rate of 66.7%. This means that 66.7% of the EL students enrolled at Coatell High during the LPAC testing window made progress towards ELP. The LP has 5 status levels. The cut scores for the status levels are as follows: very low, less than 35%, low, 35% to less than 45%, medium, 45% to less than 55%, high, 55% to less than 65%, very high, 65% or greater. The LP status rate formula is as follows: number of EL or LTEL students who made progress between 2024 and 2025, plus number of EL or LTEL students who maintained the highest level from the prior year, divided by total number of EL or LTEL students with prior and current year summative LPAC or summative alternate LPAC results, equals LP status. LP change measures the rate at which schools or districts are improving their ability to move their EL students towards English Language Proficiency. LP change requires 3 years of assessment results. For example, Eastern Parkway Elementary had a prior year LP status at 59.0%. In the current year, this school has an LP status of 62.3%. The difference between the current year status and the prior year status equals LP change. In this example, the LP change is plus 3.3 percentage points for Eastern Parkway Elementary. The LP has 5 change levels. The cut scores for the change levels are as follows: decreased significantly, declined more than 10 percentage points, decreased, declined by 2 to 10 percentage points, maintained, declined or increased by less than 2 percentage points, increased, increased by 2 to 10 percentage points, increased significantly, increased more than 10 percentage points. The LP change rate formula is as follows: current year LP status rate minus prior year LP status rate equals LP change. Every spring, all EL students are required to take the summative LPAC or the summative alternate LPAC. The purpose of the summative LPAC and the summative alternate LPAC is to measure an EL student's progress in learning English and to identify the EL student's level of English language proficiency. To ensure districts and schools are testing all of their current EL students, the California Department of Education, or CDE, requires that they meet or exceed a participation rate of 95% on the summative LPAC and the summative alternate LPAC. Districts and schools that do not meet the 95% participation rate on the summative LPAC or the summative alternate LPAC and have at least 30 students enrolled during the testing window, February 1 to May 31st, will receive a modified LP rate on the dashboard. For each district and school that does not meet the 95% target, the minimum number of students needed to reach equal to or greater than 95% participation rate is determined. The resulting number of students will be counted as not making progress on the current LP status calculation. The resulting number of the LP will be reported on the 25 dashboard. EL students who are counted as participating in the summative LPAC are EL students who log on to at least one domain in each composite are counted as participating in the summative LPAC. The oral language composite includes listening and speaking. The written language composite includes reading and writing. Similarly, for the summative alternate LPAC, EL students must be administered at minimum one receptive item, which includes listening and speaking, and one expressive item, which includes reading and writing, from anywhere within the assessment. Please note that A, marked as no response, is also considered a valid response and therefore counts as a completed item. The LPAC participation rate formula is as follows. Number of EL students were tested on the 25 summative LPAC and the summative alternate LPAC divided by total number of EL students enrolled during the testing window equals the LPAC participation rate. Now I'll provide details on how performance colors are determined using a 5x5 table. LEA school or student groups, EL and LTEL student groups, performance level or color, red, orange, yellow, green, and blue is determined through the use of a 5x5 table that utilizes the status and change levels. The LP 5x5 uses the intersection of status and change to determine the final performance level or color. The 5x5 table shows the performance level with the top row representing change from the prior year. The possible change levels are declined significantly, declined, maintained, increased, and increased significantly. The first column represents the status level in the current year. Status levels include very high, high, medium, low, and very low. The intersection of change and status will give the performance level or color. For example, McDosh Junior High School has an LP status level of high and a change level of increased. The intersection of the high LP status level and the increased change level is the performance color green. Now back to Irit for frequently asked questions.
Thank you, Justin. Let's cover a few frequently asked questions. Let's start with the first question. What grades are included in the LP? Students who take the summative or summative alternate LPAC in grades 1st through 12 are included in the LP. Are reclassified fluent English proficient or RFEP students included in the LP? No. Students who are reclassified anytime before May 31st are not included in the LP because they are no longer current EL students and do not take the summative LPAC. Who is counted as participating in the summative LPAC and the summative alternate LPAC? For the summative LPAC, EL students who log on to at least one domain, for example, listening, speaking, reading, or writing, in each composite, are counted as participating in the summative LPAC. For the summative alternate LPAC, EL students must be administered at a minimum one respective item and one expressive item from anywhere within the assessment. Please note that a mark as no response is also considered a valid response and therefore counts as participating. Do RFEP students count in the participation rate? Sometimes. If an EL student took the 2025 summative LPAC and was reclassified before the end of the school year, based in part on the student's summative LPAC results, then this student would be included in the LP. However, if the EL student reclassified before May 31st and did not take the 2025 summative LPAC, this reclassified student would not be included in the LP. Are long-term English learner students included in the LP? Yes. In the past, the LP had only one student group, the English learner student group. However, beginning with the 2024 dashboard, California has added its 14th student group, the LTEL student group. As a result, the LTEL student group will receive an LP status, change, and overall performance level if the LTEL student group meets the minimum N size. What is the definition of an LTEL student? A pupil who has not attained English language proficiency within 7 years of initial classification as an English learner. What is the minimum N size required for an LTEL student group? For districts and county offices of education, The minimum N size is 15 or more ELTEL students with current and prior year's summative LPAC or summative alternate LPAC results. For schools, the minimum N size is 30 or more ELTEL students with current and prior year's summative LPAC or summative alternate LPAC results. Will the summative LPAC participation rate be reported for the ELTEL student group? Yes, for those districts, COEs, or schools that meet the minimum N size. For districts, the summative LPAC participation rate will be reported when there are 15 or more ELTEL students enrolled during the testing window, from February 1st through May 31st. For schools, the summative LPAC participation rate will be reported when there are 30 or more ELTEL students enrolled during the testing window, from February 1st through May 31st. This is the end of our LP-specific information. If you need additional help, we've provided a few different resources with links in the note-taking guide. First, we have the LP webpage. It will take you from A to Z with everything you need to know about LP and has lots of links to flyers, cut scores, or anything else you might need. On that page, you'll find a link to the 2025 technical guide, where we also have an LP mini guide available. Once the dashboard has been released and the School Dashboard Additional Reports webpage has been updated, districts and schools can find LP data that is more specific than the data found on the dashboard. If those extra resources do not answer your remaining questions, as always, we are just an email away. As a reminder, our email is dashboard@cde.ca.gov. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter @CDE Dashboard. Thank you for watching this on-demand video about the LP. Again, please contact us if you have additional questions. Thank you.